I gotta make sure chat is open, and otherwise I'm good.
My desk setup is, if you see me like leaning around like this, my desk setup is a bit janky. I don't have quite enough room for, I have a main monitor here and a side monitor here, and they have to be sort of like angled together. And also I have some decently sized desk speakers, so one of them's blocking off like,
I'm sure it'll
say
be
like a
fine.
30-second of the screen, but it's noticeable. See, put that on.
All right. So just the rule for me is no nudes or copyright material, and we're good.
Darn.
And if it's copyright material, it's still okay.
Yeah.
I mean, ish.
Anyway. Cut it out.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario.
Right. I'll just get DMCA'd live. I got a strike live once. I was doing analysis of Mariah Carey, and YouTube was like, bitch. So, never again.
It's like that.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Okay, let me get chat up on this.
Again, I should
that's not
I accidentally hit the sensitivity button on my mouse. Why do I even?
I don't know why they have
unbind that button.
Yeah,
I only ever use the one. Should really change that.
Why is it? Why don't they do that? That's silly. I don't know. Technology makes our lives difficult. I've been watching The Matrix, and I'm all about, kill them while they're, toasters. I don't want to be a fucking.
Yeah. Let's see. Mute the stream and just have that in the background.
There it is.
What was I going to ask? Oh, no, I'm hearing you.
Hey, what's up, man?
Okay.
No, I don't like how this is fucking. It's so tiny. Can you guys see chat okay? Am I just old? Because this shit is so fucking small. There is a way to like make it larger text. Maybe in the program I can do that. It's so annoying.
Maybe.
I just need to consider old people. And they don't. I can zoom out. Can I zoom? Oh, yeah. There we go. You shall be heard.
Woo.
All right, there we go. I got a new overlay. I was prepared for this shit. Turns out I tested negative, by the way. So I don't know what I had, but I had COVID. Yeah, so excited about that.
That's good. Because COVID, not fun.
Not ideal. Do not recommend.
Yeah, my experience with it was better than most, and it still sucked.
Yeah.
I was unable to use my voice for like weeks.
Yeah, it's not fun.
At least effectively.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. You should. I'm proud of this, the way that this looks. You should totally check it out on the stream.
I have it. With it. Yeah, I have it pulled up.
Give me 1 second.
It's looking sick.
It's a cool setup. It took me. I just did it today.
Yeah. How's it going, Babishka? I imagine that's how that. How's it going? It's going great with me. I just finished my second week of nesting at my new job. Or did I say first week? I meant first week. I might have accidentally said second.
Oh boy. Problem with this shirt is you start to see the dad bod coming through. Yeah, we need to expand on that. All right. So, teach. What do I do
this way? Oh, you can see my cat.
Oh,
well, one of them.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. All right. So,
other one was over there.
That's important. How do I get good?
How do you get good?
How do I get good?
I ask myself this question every day. I mean, it sucks to say the million cliches of how to get good at anything, but they do tend to hold true. Especially, I think the biggest one people overlook in beatboxing is the basics are everything.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to learn their million sounds. That everyone wants to create their unique sound, and that's just not feasible for everyone to do.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone can come up with. Not everyone can. Hold on, I'm trying to think of a unique sound, and then I just completely blanked. Not everyone can do frequencies click roll. He has like this really insane like click roll that I don't think I've ever heard replicated by anyone else, but that's not what makes him good. What makes him good is the fact that he's good. He's practiced a lot, all of his sounds.
Yeah.
It's about being good at the sounds that you know.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting.
As opposed to learning a million ones.
Yeah. We had the scientist on the podcast, and he discussed, like, when we were talking about vocoder and vocoder's performance, he broke down, it was like, this is actually the same technique done like 10 different ways, and that's why it sounds good. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, like, as an opera singer, like, there is not a lot of different sounds that will get you to sing over an orchestra. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no.
there are only so many that do it. So you strive actually for a pretty singular sound, which there we go. I got my microphone has a hoodie on it, so it's like, to see what I'm doing with OBS, like that. I mean, I can just switch the source.
I gotcha.
But anyway,
I have my mic close enough and my monitor far enough away that the top right here of this pop filter is like right below both of my monitors.
Okay, so with that said, let's not try to be original. I tend to be really pragmatic when it comes, like, I'm utilitarian when it comes to instruments.
I feel that.
Yeah.
100% same here.
So for me, a lot of this is going to be about, you know, making music. And not necessarily like doing a bunch of crazy, like, that stuff is fine, but like, I don't, inhale bass is cool. I don't need it. That's what Ableton is for me.
I mean,
like
I think it is important to have inward sounds.
Because you need to have options for breathing.
Yeah, you need to be able to continue the music while also controlling your breath. But really, you just need one.
I have the
and the one that I use the most is the lip roll bass.
That thing is so nasty.
Really,
I do want to learn
that. It's so good on mic because it's inward. Inward sounds just tend to be better on mic. Because you don't have to rely on the sound being mixed well, and you don't have to rely on the pop filter working well.
That's a good point.
Like that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, and then I'd say, like, it's good to have at least one, I guess, vocal bass or vocal sound in general, to other than like singing. So of course, like 90% of beatboxers can do throw bass.
Ah, man.
You know,
when you have the thing, the lip thing, it's nice. The yeah. I got really into the throat bass stuff.
Yeah, I focused for a really long time on being able to get my throat bass as low as possible.
Yeah, that is a tricky one.
And I was able to get so close to hitting that first octave.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get to a D2.
That's good.
So low.
That's
so
low.
Close, but I can't break that. I can't break that first octave.
Yeah.
Like, it sort of it starts breaking apart too much. But I think people get distracted by wanting to have the lowest bass and shit like that.
Interesting.
When people, I mean, first off, sometimes your body just isn't able to get there in certain ways.
Well, I mean,
not everyone's throat bass is going to reach that low.
As a tenor in opera, you know what I mean? Even within tenors, they're different fachs, and we're not going to get into that because no one wants to fucking hear that shit, or at least I don't. Sorry if you do want to. Other channels, not me. Like I hate that shit.
I think I at least used to be a tenor, but that's while, I mean, I was going to say that's while my voice was still developing, but I'm not 25, so it still is.
Well, it's not, it doesn't, like, even in opera where the entirety, because, like, really the only utility is auditions. That's it. And maybe composition, probably. I mean, yeah.
All of that stuff doesn't actually matter. It's just easy ways to classify styles of voices.
Yeah, a conversation starter in the most general way. Yeah. So anyway, basics are important. We have
super.
Now I want to add like a cool little list to the production, but we're not going to do that yet.
Yeah, I'll definitely take some notes on the side, like, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, one inward sound is really good to have. I personally definitely suggest the lip roll just because one aspect of it, it's non-vocal. Vocal sounds take a different kind of effort than non-vocal sounds because you have to get more of your vocal tract involved.
Well, that for me is less of an issue, but I think I can appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, but it, like, being able to switch into and out of them, being able to switch modes with your sounds is something that can be hard to figure out. I don't want to. By switch modes, it's like I beatbox not going to be using vocal sounds than if I am trying to incorporate those vocal sounds.
Sure. Yeah, I can get that.
Because, if I'm just doing something with like basics and lip rolls, first I usually put a lot of air out on my B's and PFs. Because usually with those lip rolls, I'm hitting them hard. I'm taking in a lot of air. So like I'm pushing. I am
right. Yeah, no,
there's a good like half a second plus of me breathing out after that B.
Yeah.
Because I'm putting power behind it and I'm letting go of excess air.
Right. And then the
managing
problem,
excess air.
Yeah. Then the additional difficulty is like that pressure you put on the larynx. I mean, if you're going to make a vocalized sound, that's going to ruin any sort of consistency.
So I focus, if I'm doing like,
give me 1 second.
I'm gonna,
stream is lagging a little bit.
I see that stream is lagging thing.
Okay. This is why I've been trying to tell my wife, like, I need to go back to our shitty Cox provider.
Better internet speeds, or?
Yep. Better input output upload. Well, better upload here, supposedly. But it is prime time. So I don't know if there's much I can do about it, which sucks. I'll close this one browser.
At least I'm
oh, you know what? I can close Discord. And that'll probably free up a lot of resources. Steam.
Oh yeah.
That's, I think, the best I
worst
got.
case scenario, I am just recording the monitor
Sure.
that Whereby is on, as well as both of our audios.
Yeah. How's that for folks? Is that better?
Yeah.
Also, it's going all right. It's just found out I don't have COVID, which is nice because I prepared a shit ton for this weekend. But yeah, we're in the clear. I mean, there's not much I can do aside from this. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I see the. Anyway, that sucks. I'll figure it out. We're also recording
Yeah.
this, so. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So the. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Like, I got knocked off track. I gotta get back into the headspace.
Yeah. I got you.
It's also just in beatboxing, with all the different sounds you make, you have to focus on all the specific muscles that make each sound happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing a vocal sound with other sounds, you're usually focusing on these muscles in here can take away a bit from the focus on these muscles up here. You just have to keep that mode switching in mind. You kind of have to practice patterns with and without different vocal sounds if you maybe have routines that you'd want to do both ways, that sort of thing. And we were cataloging. I wanted to get down the different sort of sounds you want here. We already talked about the one inward sound, which I recommended, the lip roll bass.
Yeah.
One vocal bass, which you already have down with throat bass. And then, of course, BTK and PF, which are, of course, your basic sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that one was on the subreddit, I think. Something like that. I don't know.
I also, personally, I like the slightly more completed drum kit here.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to suggest the F hi-hat.
Okay.
So you can do like... It just lets you play around with... I'm not putting any breath behind it. It's pretty much just lower lip on upper teeth. I'm sort of pushing my jaw forward a little bit for it.
Yeah. Okay. I can see the appeal there. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
My wife.
It takes a bit to get it nice and clean.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I stopped putting off my notifications on my phone because, like, I'm a fucking old man and I just mute everything. But that's had some consequences. So, all right. Anyway, so that is the F hi-hat is important.
I like to play around with my hi-hats a lot. Sometimes I've always thought it's really interesting, generally in music, when the drummer plays around with the hi-hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you know Polyphia, the band.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Their
Awesome.
shit is absolutely bonkers.
That drummer makes love to that hi-hat, and
it's very
absolutely
idiomatic
beautiful.
of jazz, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, anyway, yeah. There you go. Okay, yeah.
Also, another thing to point out is the TS as opposed to the T.
Yeah. All right, that's clean. I can see why
like
you're emphasizing the basics, because like obviously that's significantly cleaner than most people. I feel like that does happen a lot when I watch a lot of even wildcard submissions. Like there were when Sleep won his, it was like, yeah, everyone was doing a lot more complicated shit, but his was cleaner and more musically interesting.
One wild card that actually won in GBB 23, or one wild card that at least got past the first round. Where is it? I need to. There's the playlist. I have a playlist of all of them. Let me find it real quick, because I think those are all the round two. Who was it? Never mind. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it quickly, but there was one guy who had like this like really, really unique sound. I remember D-Lo made a video of reacting to the wild cards where he reacted to it, and he was like, that sound was really good, but
yeah,
there are some obvious technical flaws here. He definitely gets like good points for having this really unique, crazy sound that we've never heard before and doing it well, but
yeah,
he can't be like in the top half of contestants because like he just wasn't clean enough. And that's not to say he's bad. You're not bad if you're not clean. You just have more work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see the same thing. I was gonna say in Reddit, but I totally fell under this category as well. Is that obsessing over high notes and stuff like that? That's because you can't there's to an extent, if you don't have high notes, you can't really be competitive. So having some interesting sounds, or at least high, like there's a way to
care a lot about my vocal range.
yeah. No, it's funny. People value that over almost anything, and they'll like shove as they can. They don't even care about the sound. They just want to achieve the note, and it's like, anyway. I mean, the same is true in competitive video games. Everyone cares about their rank, etc. Anyway, all right. So let's cover this. You said we have the lip roll is something to work on. It's non-vocal. It's inward.
Yeah. To get the basic sound, I think the best way I've heard it described to really get the muscles, involved right, start out by just making a kiss, which is also a hi-hat, by the way. Just make a... Now, mechanically break down the kiss. What's happening? You're closing your lips. You are using your tongue to pull back and create a vacuum in your mouth, and then that vacuum is breaking, creating the kiss sound. That's what's happening when you kiss. It's all in the tongue. In the same way, lip rolls, very tongue involved. The basic lip roll, the non-inhaled lip roll, is like trying to kiss out of the corner of your mouth. And then, of course, there's the outward.
Okay.
I have a terrible cough stick. I don't practice it. Yeah. I'm not good at the non-inhaled lip rolls. Yeah. I don't think. I'm passable because it's really easy to do lip rolls fast. It's hard it is much harder, and I respect Napalm much more for his slower lip rolls. It is legitimately harder to keep a good sound quality throughout a slow lip roll than it is to do quick ones.
It makes sense because like fucking that's insane. You know, when you're doing or at least the
Yeah,
big
like,
one. Yeah. Like it's crazy.
yeah, lip rolls. It's amazing that your lips can do that. That sound is coming from nothing but your lips,
I wanna know
echoing
who the
around
hell,
inside of your head.
like who figured that out?
Came up with them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the low one. I don't even know. It's like, what if I just shake my lips at 20 hertz or under? It's like, what the who taught you how to think? Anyway,
The thing about the sub bass lip roll is you just hold your lip tighter than the regular one. Regular one, sub bass. Sort of give you an actual view of it. Regular, sub bass. You're holding them more apart and tighter. But to really get the lip roll, you have to focus a lot on pinching the opposite side while keeping this side loose. So like one thing I do, one way I practice it, I'm doing it right now. I just only talk out of the right side of my mouth because that's where I do my lip rolls.
this can't possibly be weird. I'll just, you know what? If I'm like in the
you just
middle of
hold
something
this.
and my wife wants to talk, I'll just be like, look, okay, all right, okay. How to get privacy
and
in
another
marriage
part
right
of
here.
getting good lip rolls is dropping your jaw a bit.
So no, okay. So I'm pulling off the Jim Carrey, and I'm doing it with, oh boy, I'm so happy. All right. I can see. Okay, so if I talk like this,
Yeah,
there's a relaxation that starts to build. Okay.
And I have up to the very middle of your lips about are touching, or at least for me, it might be a little different for you.
No, that makes
Everyone's
sense.
a little different with every sound.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah. So essentially, the entire, for me, left side of my mouth, I'm just keeping all tied up right here, and I'm forgetting about it.
I mean, honestly,
It's
that's probably the
sound that takes a
closest I've
while to
ever.
learn.
Yeah, that's the closest I've ever been to it. I think it really
and
helps.
I would suggest really focusing. Even I did this at first. I never use that kind of lip roll in my beats, like ever. Even when I like really try to focus on it, it's just not something that comes naturally to me.
Sure.
But I spent about 2 years only doing that kind of lip roll before I even started doing the inhaled.
Right there, I think you would have lost a lot of people. 2 years is like in some instances, it's like
that's the thing with some sounds.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I couldn't do the inhaled lip roll.
It just wasn't performance ready. Yeah, I get you.
Well, it was that I didn't care about beatboxing again yet. Was my thing. I sort of left. I've been beatboxing for 10 years, off and on is the asterisk on that.
Yeah.
I started in middle school, and basically all I knew how to do was, I didn't know how to do the PF. I just knew BTK, and then I didn't know how to do throat bass, so I used chest bass as a substitute, but I didn't know chest bass was a sound. I think I have like a fairly strong chest bass because of that.
Yeah, that's
I've been doing chest bass since I was like maybe 5 years old. It's one of those, sometimes you'll, a beatboxer will tell you a story like Stitch. I don't know if you've seen the interview with the fairy voice mother.
No,
that
I
Stitch
didn't
did.
because I'm jealous
Oh,
and bitter. I
fair.
had a chance to interview Jolix, and I didn't. I was just
Oh
too
yeah, because he watched
disorganized.
your stream a couple times. I
Yeah, I just
remember.
didn't. I just didn't. That's the story of me a lot. Like I get distracted by shiny objects, and Fairy Voice Mother has just been grinding it the same way for years, and I just hate
Yeah,
doing the same thing
and
over and over.
makes
But
amazing content, by the way.
I never.
I just
Yeah.
gotta like give her props there
Yeah.
because I've been a fan of her content since long before she started covering beatboxing.
Yeah.
Probably like a year plus before,
I mean
and
the
it's been really cool watching that journey.
I'm in what I'll promise you this. I will work on my emotional maturity. No, I'll check it out. It'd be funny to do a reaction
Yeah.
to that one. It's reactions are such a
Uh,
weird type of content, but
yeah, but in that interview with Stitch, I'll give you a little spoiler here because it's relevant. Stitch talked about how um, when he was growing up, he's Christian, so he went to church a lot, right? And in church, you'd have choir, and he always loved the sound of a choir. He always loved the sound of like multiple voices singing together, and he was like, wouldn't it be really cool if one person could make that sound? So like little like 12-year-old Stitch or whatever. Sorry, had
you're
to
good. You're
burp.
good.
Little 12-year-old Stitch spent like a year off and on trying to make a sound like a choir. And then all of a sudden, he just went, oh, wow, mine is off today. And then he was like, oh, I did it. And he found that sound when he was like a kid. And then he started beatboxing and he didn't think of that sound at all because all he used it for was like playing jokes on people because
Yeah.
like it sounds kind of creepy when you talk with it. Like
Yeah.
he would, yeah. But then he watched, I think it was GBB 2017, and he specifically watched 2H, who had just figured out his double voice. This sound could have single-handedly won 2H that GBB. Like that's how huge 2H's double voice was at the time. And all his double voice was is a tighter version of Stitch's polyphonic. Like a more like it feels like he's doing this at the same time.
Yeah, so his
Like
false
it
folds are
feels
contracting or
yeah.
adducting.
I think it mechanically it might be like God, that's hard to think about because I mean I have my theory I have my hypotheses.
I'm almost positive because it sounds like I mean double voice aside, the constriction I'm almost perfectly confident saying it's adduction of the false folds in the same way you would be like this. I'm so constipated. Yeah! Oh my god, I'm pooping. That thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's an element of it.
It's a different kind, but yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
right.
It feels a little different. But my thing with polyphonic voice is I also can do false fold screams. If you can do false fold screams, you can do polyphonic voice. Like that's just a fact.
That's something that I've always wanted to do, but I'm just so scared of doing.
Yeah, it's so weird to the thing about false chord screams or false fold screams is it feels weird because you're not really engaging anything. You're just pushing air through and keeping good breath support. Let me see. I did one earlier today, but I don't practice this super often. Yeah. So like I'm definitely feeling the like tightness of like breath support. You kind of get your body ready for it.
It's funny because
and you're just pushing the sound through.
It's funny that you call that support, because that is the exact opposite use case than in opera. Because the entire point is to suspend the contraction, not contract. So that's really interesting. Yeah. Because I mean, like, you don't get, without that, you don't get the sound with the screaming, because like you're saying, there's no, like, the Bernoulli effect is.
And the thing is, screaming, and I see the Biche talking in the chat there, and I'm going to address that in a second. But false chord screaming, it's all about just pushing a shit ton of air through and letting your false folds do all the work, just flapping around.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, mechanically, that works that way. The false folds are freaking large.
Yeah, with polyphonic, the thing is, it feels exactly the same, but you don't necessarily need as much breath support. And all you're doing is, like, it feels like I'm just inserting my vocal cords lightly with that falsetto, because Stitch has described that as like a whisper falsetto. The whisper is the air being put through. It's the this kind of whisper where you're putting out a lot. And then that's combined with the falsetto, and then you combine the two, and you go like.
I've run into that sound on the occasion by accident, but man, this is it's so interesting. A lot of the goals here, like, going back to, like, being singular about your focus and your sounds, like, this is all antithesis of everything that you want to do in opera, which is fine. It won't be detrimental. It's just I have to be cognizant that, like, these are different coordinations. It's super interesting though. So okay, here's what I have. Lip roll,
but
right? So we have the lip roll.
I just wanted to
go for
finish my thoughts actually on the polyphonic. But yeah, the whispering falsetto thing. Let me see if I can do a transition. I'll take one ear off to make sure I'm hearing things right. I'll do a quick transition from the scream into the poly, just to show you, like, it's been a while since I've done it, but I know I used to have that transition down, like, really well. It's very easy. Like,
I can see how that. Yeah.
The end of that.
Yeah.
You heard the switch? It's literally just false chord scream, but you engage the folds and you let up a little bit.
Yeah, that makes me nervous as fuck. It's like,
and the thing is, the false chord scream, it does feel like, when you're just starting and you're like, oh god, what if I fuck this up? It feels scary, but, like, I don't know if you've tried to follow along with any tutorials. The number one thing to remember, of course, drink water.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. Make sure you're not drying yourself out. And also, just kind of relax. The whole thing, it works best when you're relaxed in your throat, because you don't want to engage your vocal cords.
Yeah.
It feels almost hard not to do sometimes, engaging your vocal cords, when that's all you're used to doing to create sound.
Right. Yeah.
But once you realize you can use the false folds instead, it's very relaxed.
Okay. So
you were almost hitting, like, chest bass there. It sounded like.
Huh. All right, I can work on that.
You just. just sort of breathe like that. What you're getting a little throaty there. You're kind of getting a.
Okay.
And that's chest bass.
Yeah. All right.
False fold screams don't feel like chest bass.
Okay.
It almost feels like you're using your vocal cords or your vocal folds because what you're using is right above them. But it is, of course, not the vocal folds. It'll almost feel like it. That thing I was doing where I was just breathing out heavily. If you can get that sound, that's all a false chord scream is.
Okay. But before, because we only have so many minutes.
Specific texture.
Yeah. Well, we only have so many minutes left.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's talk homework. Like, what would I do?
Homework. So first, lip rolls. I'd say watch a few tutorials. I can send you a few for sure. I think I might have learned from Tyler W's tutorial. I know Napalm has a tutorial on it, and he's like the king. So a lot of people like that one. But I'll scrub through for some good ones. Of course, practice your throat bass, and specifically, I'd say practice the transitions between throat bass and singing, like.
Yeah, that one's a tough one.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
I walk a lonely road, the only road.
One exercise that I did.
The only road that I.
One exercise that I did to help with that was do little 3-note arpeggios starting with throat bass.
Okay. Is that
and I just
first inversion minor chord?
I have no clue. I know nothing of the sort. I am completely classically untrained in all aspects of music. I know some terminology. I know generally what things mean. If you tell me if you tell me what a chord is, I can put it together with some time.
But that's the first inversion. Sorry, I just did it in my. I just did it in my head. That's a first inversion. Okay. Because the intervals are.
And then I would say having good drums is huge.
For sure.
So like BTK and PF are like the 4 basic drum sounds. But I really like adding in the F and the PS.
Right. But so in terms of applying that to practice, what is the sort of scope of the homework, if you will?
Scope of the homework. I'll put together some exercises in SBN, standard beatbox notation, that involve pretty much just those 6 sounds: BTK, PF, F, and PS. PS isn't one that is used. I feel like PS is used the least out of those 6 sounds, but I think it should be used more. And optionally, if you want the closed hat, the step on the pedal hat, you can do the. Just because it adds a little bit more texture. And really just work on those with the TS and the PS. Work on keeping your S smooth and tight.
Got a consistent S.
Yeah, very consistent S. indit, be able to cut it off nicely. I find it helpful to do TST afterwards to end off that S, because your tongue's already in the position. It's super easy to do. And generally that works really well in patterns.
Okay. So considering ergonomics when considering a pattern is a big part of this.
Yeah. And TFTs, just you can get them really fast. So you can fit you can fit a lot of rhythmic complexity into a small amount of time.
All right, I can see that.
And then practice the non-diaphragmatic K for more tech patterns. Like you have the inward K, you have like the outward K with, but you also have where I'm not breathing in or out. I'm just making a K sound. Okay. And with that, you can do like stuff like that.
Fuck yeah! All right.
And I'm not gonna lie. I spent probably 2 months or so or a month and a half doing like pretty much only B, T, K, P, F lip roll.
Okay.
And I mean throat bass in there as well, but
sure.
I just do that all the time. And I'd say another thing, just do these wherever, whenever.
Yeah, no, I get that.
When I work from home now. When I didn't work from home, I would go to my job, and when there weren't customers, I would just beatbox. I would beatbox on my way to work. I would beatbox on my way. When I walk over to a convenience store or whatever, I beatbox on my way there, and I beatbox on my way back.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting over there taking calls for Apple support, between calls, what do you think I'm doing?
You're beatboxing. Yeah, no, it's what is that called?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're trying to build myelin, so like putting space in between the practice is incredibly important. Mike Tyson used to throw punches in front of a mirror for 15 minutes at a time and walk away and process and do it again. That is one thing I'm glad. If nothing else, all of my time in music has taught me, like learning how to learn. But that's I mean, it's tough too, because like if I'm making content around the practice session, it's like I can't just sit down and practice for an hour or something like that. That has to be more flexible than that, which sucks because obviously life would be a lot easier if it fit that neatly. But
and another thing, you can focus on one of two things with each individual practice session, I guess, that you do, practice segment that you do. And that is speed or power. And they are somewhat mutually exclusive, but you'll only, if you want to get better, if you want to get faster and stronger, you have to practice them separately and combine them.
Yeah.
So like, if I want to go fast, I can do the, like, that type of K stuff, like, but it's not like that powerful. But if I want to be powerful and I want like a beat that people are going to like bump to, I'm going to be like, where I'm really putting the air into it. I'm making sure each kick is full power. Each PF has that texture, and I'm using a lot of breath. I'm taking a lot of breath in when I'm not making a B, or a PF. I tried to do a PF while I said PF, and that just didn't work.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, those are I think the most important things to remember is practice speed, then practice power, then practice speed, then practice power, or alternatively practice speed a bunch, next day practice power a bunch. You know, format it how you will, but make sure to do both.
Gotcha.
Because while people like Alim can go like super fast with like surprisingly loud sounds, he didn't start off being able to go as fast as he can now, as loud as he can now.
Yeah.
He started off a lot slower and then a lot weaker, and then he built up his power, and then that helped him build up a little bit more of his speed, and then he could combine the two a bit, and then he just kept leveling those up.
For sure. I gotta bounce because it's a little past.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. So I have this in my notes. I think I can do this.
I'm gonna DM you my notes that I took so far.
Okay. Yeah, yours are probably better. I'll compare off of yours. So, am I okay if I show the chat on stream?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All right. Good.
And I'll say definitely working on doing Ks back to back. Sure. If you care about speed, doing Ks back to back is very fast, very easy. It just takes a little bit to learn the muscle memory.
Right. We'll just see. I like one thing at a time kind of thing for me. Definitely, I tend to zero in on one thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll start you off mostly with BTKPF.
Okay.
For sure.
Beans. This makes me want to do the other thing. Was that you singing that makes me want to do like music theory practice as applied to the RC 505 or something like that. Anyway, yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
It's great talking to you.
Yeah. All right. We'll do this again. Also, let me know if you want voice lessons too, by the way. Because it makes sense that we would trade that, so.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely might have to take you up on.
Sure.
But also, I've never been one for setting goals or having role models. So I know that's a thing a lot of voice teachers like to be like, oh, what do you want your voice to sound like? And
not necessarily.
I mean,
I always open up a lesson with like, what do you want to do with this? Like, why are you here? And usually that is answered. But if someone says like, I don't know, I'm like, that's cool. You just like singing. You want to see what happens. Got it. Like, that's totally a valid answer. But